Punk Revolution now. Today I'm going to be reviewing Squid's debut album, Bright Green Field. This album has had a ton of hype going into it. Everyone's just so excited for this album to come out. Lots of critics who are praising the singles. Everyone's, excited. Oh my gosh, it's another experimental post-punk band, art punk band from Europe that's gonna blow our minds all over again, like Black Midi did, and Black Country New Road did, and Shame did, and Viagra Boys, and Idols. If you've been following my reviews, you're aware that I've always been kind of jaded and skeptical of a lot of the art punk coming out nowadays from Europe that's getting a ton of acclaim. I listen to the albums and it's like, yes, these bands are talented, but I feel like they're a little bit derivative, and it just feels very overhyped to me. Going into Squid's newest album, yet another one of these extremely hyped art punk bands from Europe, I'm again a little skeptical. I have an open mind. Maybe this one's gonna be really good, but I'm going in a little skeptical, honestly, just because I feel like these albums tend to be a little bit overhyped. However, I will say I really did enjoy Squid's EP Town Center that came out a couple years ago. I thought that was a pretty fucking solid EP, so I have an open mind. Let's see, is this album gonna be worth all the acclaim that it's getting? I shall tell you. Let's start by taking a look at the album cover. When I look at this album cover, I can't help but frankly think of Porter Robinson's album Nurture that came out like 2 weeks ago. Like, this is kind of a mindfuck that Nurture was a highly anticipated album by Porter Robinson, and then we have freaking Squid's album, which was also highly anticipated. They come out pretty much at the same time, and they both have these very similar album covers with like a green field and people, like a person laying in the field kind of in the same angle. Just a really strange and funny coincidence, and I have gotten these album covers mixed up. Squid's album cover is actually really cool because if you look at the person there, it looks like that person who's in the field is like made up of like these little things. It's not clear what it is. I think it might be like an army of people that are all holding spears in a formation that makes this person. Not quite clear exactly what it is though, but I think it looks really cool, very abstract, while also being very pleasant to look at with these very pleasant and calming colors. So I like this album cover. I don't even know where to start when talking about the music here because this album is honestly a fucking beast with so many cool influences and so many crazy moments throughout this album. Like, gosh dang it, this album is a beast. I'm just gonna put it out there. Yes, I think Squid deserves the acclaim they're getting. I think they're fucking talented as fuck. I think they are in another league above all their post-punk experimental rock contemporaries, because I think what they're doing here sounds really fucking good, is really fucking creative, is really fucking talented, and is honestly pretty damn innovative as well, which, I think the other bands that are similar to Squid also are very talented, but I just feel like Squid, they rock. Squidward. So what Squid is basically doing here is they are taking this really like dancey, new wave and post-punk influence, like really groovy, really fun they'll kind of get into like a jam off some riff that definitely reminds me a lot of like Talking Heads, Remain in Light era, maybe like B-52s or Television, these angular riffs that are really kind of like fun and dancey. You get the idea. Post-punk, new wave coming together with a lot of intricate details. They're not just regurgitating the Talking Heads groovy post-punk new wave formula. They're going at it and they're like really like taking it to the next level. Like, these are some really fucking intricate riffs. Like, I love in the narrator, there's this one guitar on the left side that's like and then it'll go like it's just kind of super impressive that they're able to put like a full like crazy guitar line within this very intricate riff that they're grooving on. Extremely talented band, and you know what I think actually takes them to the next level, besides the fact that the instrumentation is really tight, is the vocalist. The vocalist, he is really aggressive, he's really out there, he is a major presence within this album, which is kind of surprising because, if you have an album with instrumentation that's so busy and so intricate and honestly just so fucking awesome, you might not want to have a vocalist that's super aggressive because that vocalist could be distracting from the rest of the instrumentation. But honestly, this vocalist, I think for the most part, like there's some moments I'm not crazy about the vocals, but overall, I think the vocalist does a fantastic job. Super aggressive, super punk, certainly reminds me a bit of James Chance and the Contortions, just like aggressively getting in there, except he has these like kind of goofy and abstract lyrics that clearly don't really make make any sense, don't really mean anything clearly, but they're just like very creative and just kind of entertaining in that sense. And I actually do like that they don't really mean anything. Like, it's not like he's trying to be super profound like I feel like some of these other art punk bands are trying to do. No, this album is just to fucking get your ass in there and have a lot of fun, build a fucking creative groove, and then what they do with these grooves that they build, they kind of just take you on a crazy fucking journey with it. Like, I'm definitely getting some like prog rock and psychedelic rock influence going in there. Like, kind of reminds me a bit of like Cans, like Tago Mago a bit, which is really fucking dope. And even with the like electronics that they incorporate in some of these jams, I do even get a little bit of like Radiohead Kid A sort of like electronic feels kind of seeping into it too, which is like certainly a really cool thing to see combining with like a Talking Heads-esque post-punk jam. And that's fantastic, but what I really love about this album is they're not just bringing these cool influences together cohesively, they are actually like moving with it. They're going on this crazy journey. Every song is just like a, you know, it ultimately kind of takes a very post-rock formation. Like, it crescendos, it climaxes, it has these weird droney moments, it goes here and there. It's just like, you never know what's gonna come next. Like, I think The Narrator is for sure the best song on this album and probably one of the best rock songs in the past decade, honestly. They have this vocalist come in and she's like whispering on top of it while the band is like at their all-time highest energy-wise, and the contrast between the whisper and the crescendo is just like kind of a mindfuck, kind of chills-inducing, just really creative. I think they just do a fantastic job, and I also have to say, I gotta give credit to the vocalist again, that the vocalist, he's able to move along with the dynamics as well. When the song just gets louder and louder, he's not afraid to get it up in your fucking face and yell his fucking ass off. He sounds angry, he sounds pissed, he sounds like he's having fun though. It's like, it's just a great time. Same goes with the song Pamphlet, which is the last song of the album. A fantastic ways to close the album. Like, at the very end, you get this big ass build up and he's just screaming his fucking ass off in your face. It's a very bold choice, but it fucking pays off. They're just consistently making some pretty damn bold choices from start to finish in this album, and not only do we have great instrumentation, not only do we have great songwriting, not only do we have these cool experimental jams and a great vocalist and all this shit, they actually, Squid is also excellent at writing hooks. Like, there's plenty of hooks throughout this album that are just like really catchy and are gonna make you want to sing along to it, and they have plenty of build-ups to reach the hook, so when you do finally get to that like melodic and catchy part, like, you've really built up to it and it's a big payoff. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this is just a fantastically executed album. I do have some issues with it. Like, I do feel like this album does, you know, decrescendo a bit, do some drony stuff, which is of course what you're gonna find in any post-rock album, but I do feel like, you know, towards the middle of this album, it does kind of slow down a little bit more than it needs to, and it does sort of, sometimes these slower moments kind of drag, which is, you know, kind of, you know, you just want to get into the fucking groove and dancing again to all these crazy fucking riffs. And the vocalist, even though I think he does a great job overall, I think much better than a lot of modern post-punk vocalists nowadays, I do feel like sometimes it does feel a little bit too more dramatic than necessary, and the lyrics, well, I think overall the lyrics are really entertaining. There are some lyrics here and there, like I don't go outside, that are, again, just feel a little bit cliche. That's kind of the same issue I have with a lot of the other post-punk bands coming out nowadays, but I have these issues to a much lesser extent. I think the good stuff in this album are just really fucking high, and the stuff I don't like as much are not as exaggerated as some of their contemporaries. The bottom line is, I think Squid is fucking killing it. This rocks. I endorse this album. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10. Really fucking sick job, Squid. Fuck all you other bands. Squid wins, according to me, and I decided. So that's all I have to say, folks. 9 out of 10. Hope you guys like this album. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching Punk Revolution Now.